Hey gang, JC here, and this is the Daily Dose for Thursday, February 9th, 2012. A combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. Great television archives. Top of the page, eye candy below. We got a good one today. Man, do we have a good eye candy today. I'll tell you about it here in just a couple of seconds. And our rock and roll poll question from yesterday. Do you believe that our dreams have some sort of significant meaning? You know, we used to have a dream analyst on the air with us every 2 or 3 months, and we just reached a point where we're like, you know what, this whole thing might be crap. I don't know. Anyhow, 57% of you said, I think that maybe our dreams sort of have some sort of relevance in our daily lives. I think at least a little of what we dream correlates to what's going on in our lives. Number one answer, 57%. 16% said not really. I think dreams are mostly random images that mean little or nothing. Number three answer, yes, I think most of the images relate to events and people in our daily lives. And 13% of you think that dream analysis is total baloney. All right, let's move on to today's question. Now that the football season is over, and by the way, I'm asking this on Thursday so that we can have the results on Friday going into the weekend. Now that football season is over, what are you likely to be doing on Sunday afternoons instead of watching football? Because there ain't any. Here are your choices. Watch whatever sports are on. B, watch movies. C, spend time with friends and family. D, get some work done around the house. E, I rarely watch football games in the first place. Or F, other. Please answer in the corner. Really curious about this one too. We've had some great poll questions lately. Well, this Mimi Alford thing has gone from freaky to freaking at Freaker's Ball. This segment last night with Meredith Vieira on the new edition of Rock Center, which they moved from Monday night at 9 to Wednesday nights at 8, was off the scale. I mean, Kennedy was a freak. Now, first of all, there's very little in terms of substantive proof, that could sort of shine a light on this thing and say, everything she's saying is absolutely true. Almost everybody's dead. But we do know that she was an intern, and we do know that she was seen at all hours of the day and night with Kennedy in places where people were sort of surprised that why is she there? So we know that she had an intimate relationship with the President of the United States. Whether all of this stuff she's throwing out there is true, nobody's ever going to be able to know the truth of that. She certainly seems credible. And the way she tells the story certainly lends one to conclude that everything she's saying is completely true. Let's just say, for the sake of discussion, that it is. Everything she says is true. Wow, the thing with the pool and the assistant, and go do the assistant while I sit here and watch, and then later on do Teddy Kennedy and all thing. So there's a lot of people who are going to dump on Kennedy, and they're already doing. I've already heard it this morning. And it's not that he doesn't deserve it, but I do want you to remember one thing before you just completely can the entire Kennedy legacy. He seemed to be able to, and I've heard a couple of people use this term last night, to compartmentalize the various aspects of his life and his career. And I will say this, we'd all not be here right now, in all likelihood, had it not been for the incredible efforts of diplomacy with Khrushchev and the Kremlin during the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. I mean, we were 15 minutes away from nuclear annihilation in all likelihood. And Kennedy, instead of, bring it on, he just sort of, deftly slithered his way through these negotiations, and we're all still here. But there's a pretty good chance that we were all going to be gone. I remember that Cuban Missile Crisis with vivid recollections. It was the only time I saw my father scared, and he looked scared to death. We didn't know if we were going to get up the next morning, if we were all going to be vaporized. Kennedy got us through that. Let's just keep that in mind. I ain't trying to excuse anything that he did or may have done, and I'm not trying to say that he wasn't sort of total off-the-wall freak, but let's just remember that part of the story. Other good show on last night, they launched this person-to-person. Now, the whole Charlie Rose thing I sort of don't get. And then you have, the other co-host, and she's, still, I think she's doing great, Lara Logan. And I had no idea she had such great legs, by the way. I haven't said it to my wife, which is not necessarily something you would say to your wife when you're watching a TV show, but I was like, holy crap, I had no idea this girl had such great legs. And she's a damn good reporter and a good interviewer, too. They had George Clooney on and John Bon Jovi, from their homes which was interesting. It's sort of and they had Warren Buffett from his office. But the reason I point this out is you talk to security experts, especially the big high-powered ones in New York and California, Los Angeles, Hollywood and all that sort of stuff, and they say no client of mine will ever be allowed to appear on one of those shows. And here's the reason why. First of all, it's a security breach. Somebody watches TV and they're like, you know what? I think we could jump that fence and we could get in there and we could clean out John Bon Jovi's place or George Clooney's place. So you got that problem because now they know the whole insides. They know what's in there. They know what to look for. They have they basically got a blueprint of the physical plant of the home. The other reason is that people who are on the edge, who are in the television viewing audience, they're watching this stuff and they're now in George Clooney's home and they're just goofy enough to now believe that they have a relationship with good old George. And that, oh yeah, George, they actually think now they've been to his house. And it's really spooky when you interview some of these stalkers and people like that who have jumped fences and had to have restraining orders put against them and stuff like that. And this is the sort of stuff that seems to push them over the edge. Just a little something to think about. I was actually very, very surprised to see two people of prominence like Clooney and John Bon Jovi. These guys probably should know better, but that having been said, it was actually a really interesting show last night. Officials at the Indiana State Fair are basically pointing the finger at that country band Sugarland because they said, look, we told them twice, you gotta delay the start of the show. We got severe weather out there. And they're like, it's going to screw up the warm-up thing, and we got to get on the road. We got to travel to the next city. And the next thing, you got a bunch of people dead, and the stage is just laying there in ruins. And we've all seen that video enough times. Somebody with the measles, and I'm sort of tired of doing Super Bowl stories, but this one's sort of good. Somebody with the measles attended the Super Bowl Village in downtown Indianapolis on Friday, which means up to about 250,000 people may have been exposed to the measles, which of course is highly contagious. A few cases that may have originated there have already been detected. It's been a couple of years since Michael Vick and Tiger Woods got themselves in trouble, but they are still the most disliked athletes in America. After Vick and Woods comes Plaxico Burress, Ndamukong Suh. He's the guy who stomped the hell. A lot of people thought that Suh should have been the St. Louis Rams #1 draft choice. Chris Humphries, LeBron James. Not surprised by that. Kobe Bryant, Terrell Owens, Alex Rodriguez, and NASCAR driver Kurt Busch are the guys. By the way, only one white guy on the list. It's interesting. Adele, who is breaking all sorts of records for album sales and who has been pretty much shut down since vocal cord surgery last November, is not only going to be on the Grammys on Sunday night, but she's also going to be with Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes. And she says she actually felt like a pop in her vocal cords. She knew she was in big trouble. 19 consecutive weeks at #1 for Adele and her album. Speaking of the Grammys, this would have been a good idea maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know about now. The surviving members of the Beach Boys, including Brian Wilson, are all going to play together on stage, sort of. They're also putting in Foster the People in Maroon 5 along with the Beach Boys. You would think that a reunion of all of the surviving Beach Boys would be a big enough deal. I don't know why they're doing this. The whole thing is just... Bridesmaids, officially now the most popular video-on-demand movie of all time. No surprise that we're hearing loud rumblings that Kristen Wiig may be leaving Saturday Night Live. And CNN has suspended Roland Martin for posting what gay groups are calling an anti-gay tweet during the Super Bowl. This is what I was talking about on the air yesterday. People just losing their minds, overreacting to everything. Some new stats are out. Top 5 facial plastic surgeries last year were facelifts, eyelid restructuring, skin resurfacing, nose jobs, and lip augmentation. Botox was the most popular non-surgical procedure. This is sort of amazing. They say now, a new survey says that if you eat dessert with breakfast every morning, you're going to lose a ton of weight. Not just a little weight, a ton of weight. Matter of fact, in a study, people lost an average of 40 pounds in 32 weeks. They say that when you eat dessert in the morning, it spikes your metabolism and it gives you all day to burn it off, and it also fights your dessert cravings. I don't know. In Florida last week, a 47-year-old guy was in court for shoving his wife during an argument. The judge sentences him to buy his wife flowers, take her to Red Lobster, and then go bowling. I think I'm making this up. I'm not. The judge said he did it because the couple still loved each other, and he thought that with counseling and quality time, they could save the marriage. It's official. House ending its run at the end of this season. That's the show's 8th. The finale is May 21st. And Jim Carrey's daughter was booted off American Idol last night, and some kid fell off the stage, and that sounds about right to me. Mitt Romney condoms. We had the condoms yesterday as our eye candy. It's in the archives if you want to see it. Mitt Romney condoms have hit the market. People who have tried them say they reduce your sensitivity to the very poor. Birthdays today include Carole King, who is 70. I thought Tapestry was it was a masterpiece. It was 48 years ago today, in 1964, that the Beatles popped up on the Ed Sullivan Show. They paid them $2,400. 73 million people watched, and 50,000 requests were made for the 728 available seats in the theater. The first time I ever got in the Ed Sullivan Theater for David Letterman, we were shooting stuff for, I was at Channel 4 at the time, and it was that St. Louis night where they took 3 plane loads of people out there, and everybody in the audience was from St. Louis. And I got into the theater early, and I just got to sort of walk around. We were setting up our camera, and I was in the first row, which is sort of sunken from the stage. And I was sort of looking at all the cool stuff, all the Letterman stuff. Oh, there's where Paul is. There's Dave's desk. And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Oh, my God. Right here, 2 feet in front of me. And I took my hand and I reached out and I just laid the hand on the stage. I realized this is the stage. This very location is where everybody was introduced to the Beatles for the very first time here in America. And it was like an electric moment. And just one of those things that I am thankful for having had the opportunity to do. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. Well, the Newt bandwagon is losing steam, and back in 1998, in the middle of the Clinton impeachment hearings, Newt found time to swing by the Weather Channel headquarters in Atlanta and do a segment. He did the weather. So now I have looked all over. I Googled the crap out of this, and I can't find it anywhere else. And so I don't know that this is an exclusive, but it very well may be. And don't be surprised if you see this now popping up all over the place, because like I said, I Googled this thing like crazy. I can't find this video anywhere else, so we may in fact have an exclusive here. The forecast, by the way, that day, partly cloudy with a 90% chance of hypocrisy. All right, so there you go. That's it. JC's Daily Dose. Don't forget to answer our rock and roll poll question in the corner. What are you going to do with your Sundays now that there's no more football? And we will see you back here tomorrow, and we'll see you along with Trish Gazelle, as we are every day from noon till 3 on the Big 550 KTRS. That's it, the Daily Dose for Thursday, February 9, 2012, a combined venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Clayton. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.